So as a quick introduction, we are Soundwave. We're a Dublin-based startup. There's about 9 of us there now, based around the corner. And as Anne said, we've raised a good seed round of $1 million, and we re-raised there recently another $500,000 from some really great Irish and US investors like IIF'13 Capital, Mark Cuban, and some other investors based over in the States as well. So as I said, we're Dublin-based. There we are in all our startup glory, above the laundrette and opposite the pub. And we really enjoy being here in Dublin. I think we have access to everything that we need. But as Anne was saying, I'm no longer in those spaces that she listed out before, but we're in the consumer tech space now. And what we have is we have a smartphone application called Soundwave for the Android and iPhone platform that we launched earlier this year. And what it does is one or two things very simply. It tracks what songs you listen to and appends it to your profile, and allows you to follow friends and follow other people that you're interested in and see what songs they're playing to discover new music. So very quickly, if you play any music across any of your players on your phone, it appears on the feed. If any of your friends are playing music or any people you're interested in, if they're sports people or celebrities or musicians or bands, you can see what songs they're playing as well. You can also do we've got this nifty feature which we call a music map. Very simply, you can navigate to anywhere in the world on the map, zoom in to anywhere from a country to a city to a street, all the way to a building. You draw a circle with your finger and you can return in real time the top played songs and the most recently played songs in that area. So if I was into hip hop, I wanted to know the top played songs coming out of Brooklyn, New York, I could just pan over, draw a circle, and then I'm plugged into the latest, greatest tunes coming out of there. One of the ways that we like to just describe ourselves, maybe it's a little bit cheeky, but we saw Twitter come along and their whole emphasis was I'm here and this is what I'm saying. We saw Instagram with I'm here and this is what I'm seeing. And we like to think we're coming along on the back of that with I'm here and this is what I'm listening to. So as Anne was saying, we recently, our download figures were up over 500,000. I was giving a presentation last week and this was the slide that I used, and I'm happy to say even in the last couple of days it's no longer 500,000, it's now 600,000. And it's not even 600,000, since 24 hours ago we've gone up another 50,000, so it's now 650,000. So it's really starting to take off, and we're really excited about that.
You've just gone up one more.
Yeah, there we go. Perfect. So one of the things we really like about what we're doing is we're based here in Dublin. We're all Irish. We're right in the hub of everything. But our product is in 190 out of 196 total countries, and it's in 14 languages. We've got clusters of users in India, in China, in Russia, in Spain, in Portugal, Brazil, the States, Ireland, and the UK. And because the product is in 14 languages and everything we do is in 14 languages, it's pretty much very difficult to figure out, unless you're reading some blog posts, it's very difficult to figure out that we are even an Irish company. So if I'm in Russia, I'm reading about Russian blog posts, I'm downloading the app is in Russian, and all my correspondence with the team is in Russian. So I think it's kind of important to note that you can really, in our space anyway, be based anywhere and kind of build a global product. So the nice thing about what we're doing is we've got this nice shiny toy, and it's the app. But in reality, what we're doing is we're marrying a B2C play, which is the big kind of music discovery product, and we're marrying that very nicely with the buzzword of the day, which is big data play. So what we're doing is every time a new user downloads the product, we have an understanding of what songs they're listening to, who they are, where they are, and when they're listening to those songs. And what we can do then is we can serve that information back to the people that need it. So what we're doing is building up a dashboard, analytics dashboard, very simple, very similar to Google Analytics, but based on music data. So if you're a band manager, a music agent, a label, you can purchase bite-sized analytics based on a particular artist, a particular area, a particular timestamp, or any other number of factors. What we found, which is something that we're a little bit excited about, it's not just the music industry that's interested in this type of data, but also consumer brands and advertising and marketing industries as well. So a quick example there would be if I was Coca-Cola and I was doing a TV commercial in Dublin and then also putting the same TV commercial out in London, I could have fixed the latest, greatest Dublin song to the Dublin version and the latest, greatest London song to the London version, which makes, for both of my markets, makes it very hyper-local, very real-time, very relevant, and very current for that brand. So it's something that we're kind of quietly building up here in the background the whole time, and we're going to be pushing out public in about 6 months' time. So why are we here today? I thought it'd be good to just kind of give a very quick, brief overview of kind of the innovative steps that all you guys have taken so far to allow us to do what we do. First and foremost, we went through the NDRC Launchpad Incubator, and I think you know, what we were trying to do maybe 10 years ago wouldn't have been possible. Well, first because there was no smartphones, but even if there was a similar type of idea, we would have, you know, we're all pretty young, kind of fresh out of college, didn't really know what we wanted to do, and if we had an idea like this 10 years ago, we just wouldn't have had any clue how to go from A to B and B to C. Whereas when we were kind of coming out of college around now, or in our first jobs or whatever, when we were coming up with ideas, we automatically knew straight away that there was this great ecosystem, this great structure in place where, you know, we didn't think, let's set up Soundwave and let's make a big company and get millions of users. We said, you know, let's see, we've got this idea, let's see if we can get into an incubator program. So, you know, just taking that one little tiny first step was all we were thinking about, and that's all we cared about. And we'd no grand vision of building anything else other than just trying to get into the program. So we rocked up with, you know, a PowerPoint presentation and a few nice slides and kind of conned our way in, and luckily they accepted us. And I think there's actually some of the panel that were there on the day are probably here, so thanks for that. But it was knowing what the bite-sized steps were really allowed us to kind of worry about the product market fit and worry about what was important on kind of getting to the next stage, as opposed to just really being kind of paralyzed by not understanding what we should do. So I think, you know, having these kind of this innovative ecosystem, you know, encouraging young entrepreneurs and encouraging people to come forward with their ideas. You know, they have an open call every couple of months, and anybody can just come forward with an idea or a very early stage business, and these guys will really nurture and educate and bring you to the next level. The other people that I think are doing something fantastic in this space, really truly innovative, are the Dublin Web Summit. We owe an awful lot to them. I think what they're doing is amazing. Again, we're very happy to be in Dublin, and that's because there's people like Paddy flying all around the world and bringing the best right to our doorstep. Again, I think he was very forward-thinking and innovative in his plans on making Dublin a centre for consumer tech and just for early tech in general. And he's really kind of had a knock-on effect in all the companies, and given all the companies around here a lot of confidence that we can compete on the global stage by bringing these guys to Dublin and seeing that they're just the same as we are. So I think what Paddy has done and what the team at the Web Summit have done has been really, really innovative in bringing us forward in consumer tech. Enterprise Ireland, couldn't give a presentation without talking about Enterprise Ireland. I think they're fantastic. They've got really, really great structures in place as well, depending on the stage you're at with your own idea, with your own business, everything from very early micro seed stage funding up to match funding and beyond. And one of the things I think is the best about Enterprise Ireland, and maybe somewhat underutilized, is again, we've a very international focus, and there's only 8 of us, you know, or 9 of us now. We're all based above the laundrette, and we can't afford, or don't have the time even just to fly all over the world. But what we do have is we have an extension of ourselves, and that's the little hubs that Enterprise Ireland have in all these countries all around the world. And you know, there's guys in those offices crying out to help Irish companies, and I think, you know, one of the things we did very early on was try and take advantage of that. And you know, we've got, you know, really great EI representatives in all these countries helping us out and making deals for us and talking to guys on the ground for us. And it's because, again, EI are forward thinking and really trying to support and encourage early stage companies like us and like other companies that we can really excel and move forward at a very, very fast pace. Anne wanted to make sure that I wasn't just painting the full rosy picture as well, and that maybe I might give a few pointers from our point of view, our very niche point of view. But one of the things I do think that we are maybe a little bit struggling just from our own personal point of view is that we're seeing really great emerging tech coming out of Dublin, but it's all seems to be B2B tech, so enterprise solutions from one business to another. We're finding it very difficult. We're operating in the business to consumer space, and you know, big global play, need millions of people, and you know, needs to be very scalable and very fast. And there's not that many other companies around Dublin or around Ireland that are doing that. So one thing I would kind of hopefully urge anybody to do is really not to be afraid to do a B2C play from Dublin. You know, it used to be traditional that all these big consumer plays and all the names and all the faces that we saw earlier on, they have to be from Silicon Valley. But I think we've got such an innovative kind of ecosystem and structure set up here now that, you know, anybody can take it on from anywhere in the world, and that's something that we're really trying to show. So that was just the first minor point. The second one is just a personal pet peeve. You know, we went through an awful lot of work to pull together our funding round, and our investors were great, but you know, from date of signing the funding round to date of cash in bank it was something along the region of 6 months, and we were told that that was, you know, on the fast side of things. But when you're trying to innovate, and when the company is only 9 months old and you're told to wait for 6 months before you can actually move forward again, it's just it's a real inhibitor and a real blocker in terms of what we're doing. And again, I think we can look to other areas. So in the States, I think they've got a great model. Somebody mentioned earlier the Y Combinator program, and you know, you can get off the stack, off the shelf legal documentation, you know, for seed round deals and for early stage deals. And you know, none of our round was reinventing the wheel. You know, it was a bog standard seed round, and I think just the fact that we had to spend 6 months and, you know, a lot of time and a lot of effort to pull that together was really a blocker in terms of us moving forward at the speed that we needed to. My final point is one, again, that's a little bit of a pet peeve, is again, once we raised the cash, we were delighted with ourselves, and we put up our, you know, 6 or 7 job applications online, and we all sat back and said, okay, we'll give it a day and then we'll check out all the applications that we have coming in. And none arrived, and then we waited the next day and none arrived, and then the next day, and you know, it was a month before we had without a single application. And for us, that was a real worrisome sign. We thought we had kind of gotten over the hardest part, which was getting the cash to give to people, and we just couldn't give it away. We couldn't find anybody to hire, you know. So what we ended up doing was using one of the services from earlier on, LinkedIn, and we just added and connected with everybody. I've probably connected with most of you, and if I haven't, I've connected with your employees, asking them to come join with us. Sorry about that, for the ones that left. But yeah, you know, we've really had to poach from the bigger companies and really try and, you know, paint a great picture about startup life and how there's, you know, so much more you can do with startups. But there was just very little for us by way of actually just putting up job applications and trying to pull people in. And you know, I'm not exactly sure how we can fix that. Maybe it's just a slight delay in people coming through. But that's just something that from our side is really a bit of an issue. And building on that point, one of the other things that we're seeing is that maybe sometimes the guys, you know, we took on a lot of guys coming directly out of college and graduate guys and really, really strong candidates. But one of the things that we've just noted is that in our particular space, you know, the screen technology space, we're seeing that there's maybe not enough kind of niche learning going on in third level education. So if we're looking, for example, for a UI designer, a user interface designer, you know, whether for tablet or mobile or desktop, it doesn't matter. If we go to look at any of the colleges, we'll see, you know, guys coming out with generic, you know, arts degrees. So they have a little bit of sculpture and a little bit of paint and a little bit of graphic design, a little bit of digital design, and, you know, not very much funneling going on. And I think that's maybe something to consider in the future is maybe just like, you know, slightly better funneling towards more online, you know, degrees or more online skill sets. I think, but I mean, there are our points anyway. I think we're doing a great job as a country and as a nation of pulling together a really innovative ecosystem, and it's really allowing very early stage companies to pull through and to scale up and to compete on the global stage with the biggest and the best. I think, you know, fixing a couple of minor points, we could get that even farther. So, thanks.